everyone, and welcome back to Global Conflict. Today, we bring you a detailed update on the Russia-Ukraine war, a conflict that continues to dominate international headlines and reshape global security. As the war enters another year of fighting, both Russia and Ukraine remain locked in a struggle that has become one of the most significant military confrontations of the modern era. What began as a large-scale invasion in February 2022 has evolved into a prolonged conflict involving advanced technology, massive military resources, and far-reaching geopolitical consequences. To understand the current situation, it is important to look at how the conflict developed. When Russian forces crossed into Ukraine in February 2022, many military analysts predicted that the conflict might be resolved within weeks. However, Ukrainian resistance proved far stronger than expected. Major cities mobilized their defenses, military units reorganized rapidly, and volunteers across the country joined the national effort. As the first months passed, the war expanded across multiple regions. Large armored formations, artillery batteries, missile systems, and air defense networks became central elements of the battlefield. The conflict soon transformed into a long and costly struggle that neither side could easily resolve. Today, the battlefield looks very different from the opening months of the war. Thousands of kilometers of defensive positions stretch across contested regions. Trenches, fortifications, anti-tank obstacles, and surveillance systems now dominate much of the front line. Military operations have become increasingly complex as both sides adapt to changing conditions and emerging technologies. One of the key characteristics of the current conflict is the battle for strategic positions. Control of transportation routes, logistics hubs, supply corridors, and elevated terrain can influence military operations across entire sectors. Because of this, even small territorial gains often require significant resources and intense fighting. Military commanders on both sides continue searching for opportunities to improve their positions while attempting to limit losses and preserve combat effectiveness. Another defining feature of the war is artillery. Despite rapid advances in military technology, artillery remains one of the most influential weapons on the battlefield. Thousands of shells can be fired daily across active sectors of the front. Artillery units are used to target troop concentrations, defensive positions, supply routes, and military infrastructure. As a result, counter-battery operations have become a critical mission for both Russian and Ukrainian forces. The side that can effectively locate and neutralize enemy artillery often gains an important tactical advantage. However, perhaps no technology has changed the battlefield more dramatically than drones. At the beginning of the war, drones were already important tools for reconnaissance and intelligence gathering. Today, they have become essential components of military operations. Small reconnaissance drones provide real-time battlefield awareness. Operators can monitor enemy movements, identify defensive positions, and coordinate artillery strikes with unprecedented speed. Meanwhile, first-person view drones have become increasingly common. These systems allow operators to guide drones directly toward targets with remarkable precision. Military experts around the world are closely observing these developments because they may represent the future of warfare. The lessons learned from this conflict are already influencing military planning in many countries. Beyond drones, electronic warfare has emerged as another critical battlefield factor. Both sides use advanced systems to disrupt communications, interfere with navigation signals, and reduce the effectiveness of enemy drones. This technological competition has created a constantly evolving battlefield where innovation can sometimes be as important as traditional military strength. Missile strikes also continue to play a major role in the conflict. Long-range systems allow military forces to target infrastructure, logistics centers, command facilities, and other strategic objectives far from the front lines. As a result, air defense systems remain essential. Modern air defense networks are designed to detect, track, and intercept incoming threats before they reach their targets. The ongoing contest between offensive missile capabilities and defensive interception systems has become one of the most important aspects of the war. Every successful interception can protect critical infrastructure, while every successful strike can influence military operations far beyond the battlefield. The conflict has also demonstrated the importance of logistics. Military operations require enormous quantities of ammunition, fuel, equipment, spare parts, and medical supplies. Without reliable logistics, even the most capable military units can struggle to maintain effectiveness. For this reason, supply routes and transportation networks remain frequent targets during military operations. Both Russia and Ukraine recognize that sustaining combat operations depends not only on battlefield performance, but also on the ability to maintain consistent logistical support. The war's impact extends far beyond Ukraine and Russia. Across Europe and around the world, governments continue evaluating the strategic implications of the conflict. Defense budgets have increased in many countries. Military modernization programs have accelerated. Security alliances have adapted to changing circumstances. Many nations are closely studying the conflict to better understand the future of warfare and the challenges that modern militaries may face. Economic consequences have also been substantial. Global energy markets experienced significant disruptions following the outbreak of the conflict. Commodity prices fluctuated, supply chains faced new challenges, and businesses around the world were forced to adapt to changing conditions. Although markets have adjusted over time, the economic effects of the war continue to influence international trade and investment decisions. Diplomatically, the conflict remains a major focus of international relations. Governments continue engaging in discussions regarding security, humanitarian assistance, economic measures, and long-term stability. International organizations have repeatedly emphasized the importance of reducing civilian suffering and supporting affected communities. Behind every military update lies a human story. Millions of civilians have experienced the consequences of the conflict. Families have been separated. Communities have faced extraordinary challenges. Infrastructure has been damaged, and reconstruction efforts continue in many areas. Humanitarian organizations remain active across affected regions, providing assistance to those in need and supporting recovery efforts wherever possible. The human cost of war is often impossible to fully measure. Statistics can describe the scale of a conflict, but they cannot fully capture the experiences of individuals whose lives have been transformed by years of fighting. As the war continues, many questions remain unanswered. Will military operations produce significant changes on the battlefield? Can technological innovation alter the balance between offense and defense? How will international support influence future developments? And perhaps most importantly, what path will eventually lead to a lasting resolution? Military analysts remain divided in their predictions. Some believe that continued pressure could create opportunities for new advances. Others argue that the conflict may continue as a prolonged struggle characterized by gradual changes rather than dramatic breakthroughs. Regardless of future developments, one fact remains clear. The Russia-Ukraine war has already become one of the defining conflicts of the 21st century. Its influence extends beyond the battlefield, affecting military strategy, international politics, economic stability, and global security. The lessons learned from this conflict will likely shape defense planning and strategic thinking for decades to come. For now, the fighting continues, the situation remains dynamic, and the world continues to watch closely. Thank you for watching today's Russia-Ukraine War live update. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. This is Global Conflict. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.